Hello everybody, this is the C++ Why again am I taking this course? Podcast. The simple answer, outside of the because Rock Valley College tells me I need to, is really steeped in the fact that most modern programming languages really do take their core from C++. This means that if you know what you're doing here in C++, you are going to be able to go to other programming languages and have an understanding, maybe not a 100% syntactical understanding of exactly what's going on, but you are going to be able to go to other programming languages and have an idea of what is going on. So if you go to Apple and in the Swift programming language, develop mobile applications, you're going to be able to see what's happening there. If you go to large-scale database operations, you're going to see C++ as part of the operation there. If you go to Android development, you're going to get along in Android development fine as well. So, what else is there to know about C++? First of all, it is what is known as a low-level language. C++ is capable of handling very complicated things like memory management, like storage management. You're going to have a lot of code up and running before you get a working prototype of something developed and deployed out in the industries. So even though C++ kind of has this big, complex nature, at its core, it's been here in development for the better part of 40 years. We have gone from C to C++, to C Sharp, and the other programming languages I had mentioned earlier. So there's a good code base here, open and available for you, so that for every small little thing, a keyboard listener, you do not have to go and write everything. So we've got a lot of good included libraries here that are going to make developing for you, that are going to make working with strings, working with characters, working with formatted output, working with looping and decision structures easier for you to have to deal with. Next, C++ really is a very highly scalable language. If we are looking at things like Google and Facebook, the back ends of those are database driven, obviously, I would think, but they are actually run by C++. If you look at gaming, because I'm sure that about a third of everybody taking this course has at some point in time thought to themselves, I'm going to be a game developer, because that just seems to be what we hear from a lot of our students. A lot of the big 3D titles that you're seeing now are really leveraging C++, the Unity engine, C++. Another reason for C++ is that it is fast. C++ is what is known as a statically typed language, which is different than what is known as a dynamically typed language. Ruby and Java are dynamically typed. They are fast enough, but when speed really is at the very core of what you're looking at doing, if you are programming machines for things like manufacturing, if you are looking at Google at performance management so that I can give to you 300,000 search results in a fraction of a second, there really is no better language to use than C++. That being said, at its core, it's not the easiest to maintain. This is not an issue that we are going to run into here in class, but in the general industry as a whole, it's something that as a developer you should be aware of. C++ needs lots of code. Every new device that comes out, every new kind of device that comes out, there really has to be an interface that's developed for that. The good news is we have a very large, very robust community of developers who are essentially gifting you code in the form of libraries, in the form of code that you can grab and snap into your development. That being said, though, there are things that you will have to be aware of as a developer in your own specific job, in your own specific industry, that at least here in the beginning we won't be able to address, but as I get to know what everybody in the course is looking at doing, further down the line, engineering students, for example, will be able to connect C++ a little bit more coherently to what it is that you'll expect to see out in the industries. My final why C++ is always the career opportunities. At its very core, Rock Valley College, at its very core, NIU, at its very core, the reason it is that you are coming to school as opposed to working someplace else is the money. We're chasing the money. In 2015, the average salary range, now this does not specifically meet the needs of Rockford in Illinois. This is just in general in the industries. The average salary range for a C++ or a C++ type developer was anywhere between $58,000 and $125,000, with the average salary being $89,000. I know what you're asking. Why? Why in the world am I, Eric Wolf, here talking to you like a lunatic when I could be making more money building C++ applications? This is actually something I ask myself all the time. But for the meantime, this is something that absolutely you can go out and do in the industries. You can work for a game developing company. Very probably you won't, but I'm just suggesting that you might. Absolutely, you can work for an insurance company helping them tune their database operations. Absolutely, you can work for a mechanics related company helping tune the automated machinery for that as well. So at the end of the day, the salary range is enticing. At the end of the day, the career opportunities are absolutely positively out there. Later on down the line, actually, after the midterm, we will start talking about a kind of a resume and job skills workshop that the CIS department will offer on campus. I'll start putting out little breadcrumbs for that. But at any other point in time, if you have career-related questions, absolutely positively fire those at me as well. It's one thing that not just Rock Valley College, but every college does poorly, is kind of bridge the gap between the skills it is that we're trying to give you, the skills it is that you're trying to get here in class, and then the skills you're going to need to actually land and keep a job. We will actually do some addressing of that here in this course. We'll have a couple of resume podcasts, a couple of job podcasts down the line that you may not find are of value to you here, inside of the scope of the 16-week course. But later on down the line, when you're like, hey, it's time to get paid, let's do this, you can pick it up. You can, find our YouTube channel. You can go ahead and grab those. And those are going to be available to you further down the line. So this is our Why C++ podcast.